My respects to all of you. I am Lavanya, a student of Bhagavan Shri Shanmukha Natha, who is also known as Parani Swami. I hereby read out my open letter to Prateek Goyal of Newslaundry about the distortion of facts in his article on Jaggi Vasudev. In part 2 of the 3-part series titled On a Godman's Trail, Prateek, you have reported that Subramanyam Reddy, a Siddha Samadhi yoga teacher, said, "Whatever Sadhguru teaches has been taken from Rishi Prabhakar's courses." This is a distortion of facts. Whatever profound sounding concepts that Jaggi claims to teach, he has flicked from the teachings of an authentic traditional tantric guru, Parani Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha Natha, whom Jaggi met in the 80s in Mysore. And I say this with facts and evidence. Jaggi has been using the teachings and the concepts of Parani Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha. We also have identified that Jaggi has used the teachings and concepts of Bhagavan Shanmukha to prop himself as a guru and advertise in more than 80 of Jaggi's video clips. Prateek, you had called me a few months back to know more about Jaggi Vasudev, and I shared with you many unpublished facts about Jaggi from a living guru, Parani Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha. Jaggi has absolutely no background in spiritualism. He tried to impress Bhagavan Shanmukha with some borrowed ideas of Camus, Kafka and Dostoevsky, etc.
I grew up on, European philosophy, Camus, Kafka, Dostoevsky. You read that stuff?
Bhagavan Shanmukha told Jaggi that these are not works of true spiritualism and advised Jaggi to really study yoga and tantra and not market spirituality. Jaggi was not interested in spiritualism and was only interested in a quick fix to market spirituality. Therefore, Jaggi felt unaccepted when Bhagavan Shanmukha did not entertain Jaggi's ideas and then Bhagavan Shanmukha left. It is this feeling that Jaggi portrays in his tale about his guru not wanting to touch him and just touching him with a stick. Please understand this carefully.
When it was needed, when my guru appeared, and when he felt he did not feel fit to touch me, he touched me with his stick. And everything that needs to be realized was realized.
This shows Jaggi's psychological self-deception. When Parani Swami advised Jaggi to deal with Jaggi's psychological and physiological issues and not escape by marketing spirituality, Jaggi did not want to face the truth. Jaggi felt unaccepted, and instead of listening to the advice of a guru, Jaggi used the incident to market and advertise himself as an enlightened Godman with the touch of a stick. To authenticate himself as a guru, Jaggi flicks from the teachings of Parani Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha. Jaggi's life problem is his shadow area. Nothing can be realized with the touch of a stick. A spiritual aspirant has to go through diligent study and practice of the Shastras, traditional system of yoga asanas and other sciences if you are to be a guru. Whereas Jaggi has no background in spiritualism at all. Jaggi at the age of around 55 takes pride that he has never studied any spirituality and never studied under any guru.
I have never studied any spirituality and never made a study of anything and not studied with anybody.
At the age of 58 in New York, Jaggi publicly declares that he has not read any of the scriptures, not even the Yoga Sutra.
I'm completely spiritually uneducated. I have to admit that I have neither read the Gita, nor the Vedas, nor the Upanishads, nor even the Yoga Sutra. I've never studied anything. The most profound literature that I read, I read English literature just for fun because I like the language. Otherwise, the most profound stuff that I read is asterisks.
Is what?
Asterisk. Asterisk comics, yeah.
At the age of 61, Jaggi declares that he passed the Mahabharata program without reading the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata.
I had to admit that I have not read the Gita. So we're doing this Mahabharata program, now I am compelled to read it. But I still passed Mahabharata program without reading it. That's why I skipped.
Jaggi is nearly 60 in this video and he is advising people not to read the Vedanta as it is a mental game.
So, this eye business and all, you reading bits and pieces of Vedanta, please stop that. Don't read all this stuff, me and my consciousness and my witness and where is the witness, witnessing the witness, witness. You can go on endlessly. This is just a mental game.
Jaggi at the age of 64 insults the Veda by calling it a burden on the head.
So I don't have the burden of 4 Vedas sitting on my head.
Jaggi Vasudev is a Padma Vibhushan awardee who has no respect for the Veda, no respect for the Gita, no respect for the Upanishads, no respect for the Yoga Sutra. All along, Jaggi has displayed an aversion to the Veda and the Vedic spiritualism. This proves that Jaggi has no spiritual knowledge. Jaggi has been flicking from the books, videos and lecture notes of Parani Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, which are written in English, and with this information, Jaggi gained his popularity. A guru grows up in a spiritual environment and culture, and it is not just enough to claim a title as Sadhguru. I want to ask the Indian public, how do you even tolerate this bullshit of Jaggi Vasudev? We have a responsibility of upholding India's traditions and not prance around playing games. The destruction of the Indian traditions by Indians themselves is more ugly than the invaders invading India. Indians have to truly learn to respect their own heritage. This is what Bhagavan Shanmukha is saying all the time. Whereas Jaggi, at his age of nearly 60s, says that he does not know any tantra, any mantra, any rituals, any chanting.
No mantras, no tantras, no nothing. It's 100% energy work. I don't know any chantings, I don't know any rituals, I don't know anything.
Shri Rangarajan Narasimhan from Sri Rangam in Tamil Nadu, a senior priest of the Vaishnava tradition, has pointed out the sacrilegious deeds of Jaggi Vasudev. He exposes the fact that the Dhyanalinga at Isha is against the principles of consecration. He also points out Jaggi's sacrilegious deed of placing his foot on Agni, which is the sacred fire, a ritual offering. Shri Rangarajan explains how the Isha cult is distorting and indoctrinating the innocent seekers with fake philosophies and fake rituals that are destroying our long-standing cultural traditions.
இந்த ஜக்கி வாசுதேவ் சொல்வதெல்லாம் உண்மை என்று ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளக்கூடிய ஒரு பெருத்த கும்பல் இருக்கிறது. இந்த கும்பல் நம்முடைய கலாச்சாரத்தை கெடுக்கக்கூடிய, நம்முடைய சம்பிரதாயத்தை கெடுக்கக்கூடிய அனைத்து விதமான தீய சித்தாந்தங்களை நம்மளுக்குள்ளே திணிக்க முற்பட்டு கொண்டிருக்கின்றன. இந்த ஜக்கி வாசுதேவ் இந்த ஈஷா யோகா மையத்திலே தியானலிங்கம் என்று சொல்லி ஒன்றை பிரதிஷ்டை செய்கிறேன் என்று சம்பிரதாயத்திற்கு விரோதமான செயல்களை செய்தான். அதிலே அக்னியை வளர்த்து அதை காலால் மிதிக்கிறான். இது எந்த சம்பிரதாயம்? கோவிலிலே யாக குண்டத்திலே அக்னியை வளர்த்து அதை யாரால் காலால் மிதிப்பார்களா?
Agni, the sacred fire, is understood to be divine in the Veda, Agama, Tantra, Yoga and Siddha Shastras. Our marriages are conducted honoring Agni. In India, it is sacrilegious for one to even show their foot in the direction of that which is sacred. And Jaggi goes about prancing his feet on Agni. This is sacrilegious and exposes that Jaggi has no upbringing in India's cultural traditions.
In the next clip, you will see an entire concoction of false rituals by Jaggi. In this video clip, one can see Jaggi is confusing himself with mythology and reality. The biblical story of Eve and the snake, or Shiva and his snakes that are all over his body, or Krishna as a toddler winning over the snake, or as a young man trampling on the heads of Kaliya the snake. To impress the crowd that he is an enlightened one, Jaggi is seen playing with a snake. Sadly enough, even Paramahamsa Ramakrishna was playing with a snake as a toddler. Not understanding the meaning of snakes in the Vedas or the Puranas, and wanting to impress their innocent audience of their supernatural powers, these guys are prancing around with snakes. But upon really studying Tantra, you will know that snake has nothing to do with the ritualization. Authentic gurus like Dalai Lama or Srila Prabhupada or Shankaracharyas or Palaniswami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, a tantric scholar and a practitioner, don't pretend to be enlightened and don't enact the mythological presentation of the Puranas, because Palaniswami or Bhagavan Shanmukha understands that Puranas are read differently. To understand the Puranas, one must know the Vedas.
I'm completely spiritually uneducated. I have to admit that I have neither read the Gita, nor the Vedas, nor the Upanishads, nor even the Yoga Sutra. I've never studied anything.
This I business and all you reading bits and pieces of Vedanta, please stop that. I had to admit that I have not read the Gita. So we're doing this Mahabharata program, now I am compelled to read it. But I still passed Mahabharata program without reading it. That's why I skipped.
In fact, the following video of Jaggi Vasudev exposes his unsound mind.
I was asked to lie down in Shavasana. It was like a 1000-watt electricity just passing through me.
Because Jaggi and his followers don't understand anything valid, as they are not educated in the Tantra science, they basically are trying to impress the innocent audience. Here you can see, this woman is made to claim that she felt like it was a 1000-volt electricity passing through her.
Just as an experiment, we set up one body, set up this body like an invitation, and they didn't even hesitate for a moment, they were on. When this was set up, and when these beings entered, they're in bunches, they're not individual. When they entered the system, I thought, let me restrain them for some time and see.
Nobody in the right mind in India will put his foot over any sacred object. No tantric will ever place his feet on the private region of a woman. Because in the tantric science and the spiritual culture of India, fire or agni or private part of a woman are considered to be sacred. It will be sacrilegious for Indians to even show their feet towards the direction of the sacred objects, or woman, let alone the yoni, which is understood to be the doorway to the sacred dimension.
I have never studied any spirituality and never made a study of anything and not studied with anybody.
I'm completely spiritually uneducated. I have neither read the Gita, nor the Vedas, nor the Upanishads, nor even the Yoga Sutra.
I have always avoided learning Sanskrit language, because the moment you learn Sanskrit, you will end up reading the scriptures. I didn't want to clutter myself with traditions and scriptures and other things.
So I don't have the burden of 4 Vedas sitting on my head.
When this is the background of Jaggi until his age of 64, there is no way for Jaggi to know the profound concepts of Tantra, goddess consecration, Vibhuti, Akasha, Prana, Chakras, Soma, Mantra, Dharma, Karma, etc. and topics on the great divinities like Devi, Shiva, Skanda, Krishna as a complete incarnation of the divine, Avataras, Rudra, Linga, Shivaratri, etc. Jaggi flicked all these concepts from the books, videos and lecture notes of Bhagavan Shanmukha, and Jaggi parroted them in his talks to dazzle the audience and build his popularity as Sadhguru. Bhagavan Shri Shanmukha is a traditionally educated, initiated Shakta Shaiva Guru, a living Kaula Tantra Guru who has been teaching the Vedic, Agamic, Tantric, Yogic and Siddha sciences for over 40 years to students who come from across the world to learn from him. Bhagavan Shanmukha has written many books, out of which 2 books were published as early as 2001, Divine Initiation and Third Eye of the Buddhist. Divine Initiation and Third Eye of the Buddhist was written by Bhagavan Shri Shanmukha in 1990, edited by Ma Christina and published in 2001. These books are having the legal records for the last 20 years in the United States of America, New Zealand, Australia and Singapore. Bhagavan Shanmukha's lectures have been spoken by his students in the radio stations in their respective countries. This serves as historical evidences to prove that Bhagavan Shanmukha has been speaking all these concepts from very early times. It is these topics and concepts that Jaggi has been flicking. Tantra is a system which is a Guru Parampara system, whereas Jaggi Vasudev never studied under any Guru, he has no tradition, no lineage.
I have never studied any spirituality and not studied with anybody.
The teachings of goddess consecration, Devi, Tantra, Tantric Buddhism, Prana, etc. and martial arts is unique to Bhagavan Shanmukha. It is his upbringing and it is verifiable. Bhagavan Shanmukha was the first man to legally bring the martial art Taekwondo to India as early as the 70s. He studied martial arts from the age of 10. He is an expert in various systems of martial arts. His students are there in many countries like New Zealand, Australia, Malaysia, India, Singapore and the USA as well. Bhagavan Shri Shanmukha pays his respects to all his teachers and also his martial arts teachers in his books Divine Initiation and Third Eye of the Buddhist, published in 2001. In the 70s, he taught Taekwondo to students all over India. His students are teaching all over India even today. Bhagavan Shanmukha is very well versed with the Eastern cultures. Even later in his yoga school, Bhagavan Shanmukha used to talk about Bruce Lee and various systems of martial arts to his students. He has always practiced Thai boxing too, along with Taekwondo, and he has Thai boxing schools in Thailand. I too learnt martial arts from Bhagavan Shanmukha, and I told you this, Prateek. I told you this and the entire background of Bhagavan Shanmukha, and that he was the first person to bring Taekwondo to India, and you use this information cheaply and dishonoringly to evoke humor in this video by your colleague Meghnad, saying, "Teach me, O Sensei, teach me, O Great One."
The year is 1974. A guru named Rishi Prabhakar devised Siddha Samadhi Yoga in Bengaluru. A young Jaggi Vasudev came to him in Mysore and said, "Teach me, Sensei. Teach me your ways, O Great One."
You have deliberately omitted the fact that Jaggi met Parni Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, in the 80s in Mysore, and you have distorted the fact in this video by depicting that Jaggi met Rishi Prabhakar in 1974, whereas he actually met Prabhakar in 1984. Siddha Samadhi Yoga is not yoga. It is a brand name, a play of words put together by Prabhakar Raghavendra Rao and popularized by him as SSY. Prabhakar's story of the discovery of SSY makes obvious that he was experimenting with the programs and sales pitch of the SSY brand even until 1996. Prabhakar states that it was in 1974 that he was initiated into the Transcendental Meditation program by his beloved teacher Elizabeth Morrison. So he definitely did not create SSY in 1974. And he also states that it was only after 1983 that his formulation of SSY was complete. You have distorted the facts, Prateek. This indicates a deliberate attempt to mislead the public from the truth. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, Rishi Prabhakar, Osho, or Jittu Krishnamurti, none of them are martial artists or tantrics or Buddhists or gurus. They are not formally educated in any of these traditions. Bhagavan Shanmukha has met Mahesh Yogi, Osho, Jittu Krishnamurti and other so-called gurus. Not just hi-hello meetings. He has met them and interacted with them at length. Bhagavan Shanmukha is the first person to explain all these profound concepts such as prana, devi, goddess consecration, tantra, tantric Buddhism, femininity and divine femininity, Shivaratri and the topic on Bruce Lee, etc. in his lectures to students for over 40 years and in his published works. Jaggi is not a martial artist, a tantric or a Buddhist. There is nowhere else in the world for Jaggi to flick exactly these concepts which Bhagavan Shanmukha has been sharing with his students in his lectures and published works. Please see this video where Bhagavan Shanmukha's student is sharing about the concept of goddess consecration taught by Bhagavan Shanmukha for over 40 years.
Puja is a Sanskrit term for consecration. It literally means like to make sacred, to associate with the sacred, to bring the sacred into your life, and ultimately to really experience yourself as sacred. And so there's many different aspects to it. One is that we acknowledge the divine infinite consciousness, Shiva, in this system, and the 5 elements, and then we do different offerings to the different elements, and then we honor our partner as divine. And that's in Tantra an essential aspect for the man to see the woman as a divine being, as a goddess.
Whereas Jaggi, at his age of nearly 60s, says that he does not know any tantra, any mantra, any rituals, any chanting.
No mantras, no tantras, no nothing. It's 100% energy work. I don't know any chantings, I don't know any rituals, I don't know anything.
And in this video, just a couple of years back, at the age of 62, Jaggi admits he is not the puja kind, he has never prayed, and he has no need for any ritual in his life.
I don't know what kind of puja you're talking about. I'm not the puja kind, I can't defend that because I don't do it myself. I must admit now, in my entire life, never once in my life have I ever prayed. No need for any ritual. I have no need for any ritual in my life.
One who earns the grace of Bhairavi neither have to live in concern or fear of life or death, of poverty or failure. All that human being considers as well-being will be his if only he earns the grace of Bhairavi.
This Vairavi drama that Jaggi puts up has nothing to do with the authentic tantric rituals at all. Jaggi himself admits that he does not know any tantra, any mantra in the clips that we saw earlier. And we also know that Jaggi does not know any tantra, any mantra. The mantras are written like a computer code system, and they are precise, and they are not to be haphazardly written, because it will not make any sense. It will be like computer viruses and bugs in the system.
I don't know any chantings, I don't know any rituals, I don't know anything.
In this video, at the age of around 54, Jaggi's lack of knowledge about puja and consecration is obvious. To defend himself, Jaggi puts down the tradition of puja by making fun of the great divinity Satyanarayana.
We have certain beliefs that we should do Satyanarayan Puja every year, or Vastu Puja or Vastu Shanti before you shifting to a new house.
Okay.
At least in Maharashtrians we have that kind of tradition. Gruha Shanti.
Okay. Now, for all it doesn't matter how many Satyanarayan pujas that you do, for the untruth that you're generating with your day-to-day living, no Satyanarayan puja can save you. You get smoked and you catch a bad cold, next day you're sinus all burnt up and swollen. Generally your house is totally smoked with Satyanarayana Puja? No smoke? Oh, you don't use the smoke? Oh, in south lots of smoke. They're making it smaller and smaller, but the old pujas used to be real smoky and, you know. If Satyanarayana is smart, he won't come anywhere near there.
When this is the reality of Jaggi's background, where do you think Jaggi flicks all these concepts of Devi, Tantra and goddess consecration from? None of the so-called gurus like Mahesh Yogi, Osho and Jittu Krishnamurti have anything to do with Tantricism, Devi and goddess consecration. The only available source for Jaggi is from the teachings of Bhagavan Shanmukha, i.e. Bhagavan Shanmukha's books, videos and lecture notes. And coming to Buddhism, even the so-called gurus like Osho, Mahesh Yogi, Jittu Krishnamurti were never educated in the tradition of Buddhism. Even Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Swami Vivekananda were not educated in the tradition of Buddhism. Bhagavan Shanmukha has an in-depth study of Buddhism as is reflected in his book Third Eye of the Buddhist, published as early as 2001. The title Bhagavan defines that he should know every tradition in India. Therefore, he speaks on Buddhism, Jainism and all the philosophies. The title Bhagavan is synonymous with the term Sarvadarshana Acharya, an Acharya whose initiation takes him to understand the whole science. Jaggi flicked these profound concepts and Jaggi repackaged them as Sadhguru exclusive to dazzle the audience and authenticate himself as a guru. This is how Jaggi builds his popularity. I had shared all this with you, Prateek. In fact, Bhagavan Shanmukha had honoured your request and made himself free for a call, but you never responded. You ignored all this and fabricated a false story. You have taken away the democratic right of the public to know the truth. You cannot hide truth. We have ample evidences proving that Jaggi has flicked all these concepts from the books, videos, audio recordings and lecture notes of Bhagavan Shanmukha. In fact, I have serious questions whether your article is a work of authentic investigative journalism. All the heroism that you are depicting in the name of investigative journalism about exposing Jaggi has already been done by a daring few in Tamil Nadu. In fact, you contacted just few of these people for your story and you are claiming heroism of investigative journalism. You contacted Piyush Manush, a farmer, green entrepreneur and environment activist, and got all the information from him. He has exposed the many frauds of Jaggi with all the evidence for many years already. Achimuthu Shankar, you have quoted in your article as a government employee turned whistleblower. Achimuthu Shankar was working in the Directorate of Vigilance and Anti-Corruption. He was the first to expose the many frauds of Jaggi as early as 2013 in the then anonymous non-profit whistleblowing website called Saukar. The website Saukar has been called the Tamil's WikiLeaks and Achimuthu Shankar is popularly known as Saukar Shankar. And Sivamani, founder and chief editor of the community website Public Journalists. He provided you with all the documents. They are the true heroes. They have faced death threats, defamation cases and put their lives at risk and fought for truth to procure the evidence, hard work of 9 years as mentioned by Siva Apt. You have conveniently used all the evidence in your article without giving them any credit. Further, when you contacted me, I shared with you so much unpublished information about Jaggi from a living guru, Parani Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, whom Jaggi met in the 80s in Mysore. Your avoidance in reporting the truth raises serious questions about you being an ally of the fraudulent Jaggi Vasudev. Look at this. In your story, you have reported that Jaggi Vasudev was the writer of Vikatan's second spiritual series, Attanaikum Asaipadu, in 2004, whereas till date in 2021, Jaggi cannot even speak Tamil. How can he write Tamil in 2004?
இப்போ நான் பாருங்க தமிழ் பேசுகிறேன், தமிழ் மாதிரியே இருக்குது இது. புரியுது ஏதோ ஓரளவுக்கு.
ஆனா தமிழ்னு சொல்ல முடியாது நான் பேசுறது. தமிழ் மாதிரி ஏதோ ஒன்று பேசிக்கிறேன்.
Jaggi, at his age of nearly 60, is saying in this video that he does not speak Tamil, and he, together with the reporter, is laughing at his poor Tamil. All the Tamils know that Jaggi cannot even speak Tamil. Writing Tamil is out of question. Athanaikum asaipadu, which means desire everything. This itself is a concept from Osho that Jaggi has used to tantalize the people of Tamil Nadu. It will be interesting for the public to know that Sauka Shankar, who was working at the Directorate of Vigilance and Anti-Corruption, had already exposed this fact about Jaggi in the whistleblowing website Saukit, that Jaggi did not write the series Athanaikum Asaipadu. This is the article by Shankar in the website Saukit, dated 10th March 2013, and I am using Google Translate to show you what he has written. He says, like Nityananda, like Osho, like Jittu Krishnamurti, Jaggi does not have extensive knowledge, oration skills and language skills. Thus, like the others, Jaggi did not write the series but published a series of compilations as Jaggi's mottos. It was compiled by the duo writers Subha. For this series, Jaggi seems to have given advertisements worth crores of rupees, i.e. more than $100,000 to various magazines of Vikatan. Prateek, why have you omitted reporting to the public such crucial information about Jaggi's charlatanry? Instead, you and your colleague Meghnad have deliberately highlighted Jaggi as a Tamil writer for the Vikatan magazine, saying that he wrote well.
From 2004, Jaggi Vasudev wrote for their second spiritual series, which translates to Wishes for Everyone. He wrote well and gained more readership.
Jaggi never wrote the series Athanaikum Asaipadu, and you are stating that he wrote well? Kar kya rahe ho aap log? I had told you during our phone call that Jaggi has no language skills.
I have always avoided learning Sanskrit language because the moment you learn Sanskrit, you will end up reading the scriptures.
இப்போ நான் பாருங்க தமிழ் பேசுறேன். தமிழ் மாதிரியே இருக்குது இது. ஆனா தமிழ்னு சொல்ல முடியாது நான் பேசுறது. தமிழ் மாதிரி ஏதோ ஒன்று பேசிக்கிறேன்.
In this video, the host is being kind to Jaggi by saying, though Jaggi does not have fluency in the Kannada language, he spoke well.
ಗುರುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ತಮಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಕನ್ನಡ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಹಿಡಿತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೂ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು.
This proves that even at the age of around 55, Jaggi does not know Kannada, which is the local language of the place where Jaggi was born.
Then you learn a little bit of Hindi then?
No, you won't.
You won't?
No.
This is the background of Jaggi till date, even at the age of 64, no language skills, which proves that he has no access to the scriptures and he has no language skills to extract the profound wisdom contained in the scriptures and their commentaries. Therefore, the only source of reference for Jaggi is an English source of reference, that is the books Divine Initiation and Third Eye of the Buddhist, authored by Bhagavan Shri Shanmukha, edited by Ma Christina, published as early as 2001. Jaggi also flicks from the videos and lecture notes of Parni Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, whom Jaggi met in the 80s in Mysore. Parni Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, is fluent in Sanskrit, Tamil, Hindi, Urdu and few other non-Indian languages. Altogether, he knows 14 languages. There is no book in any language other than the Divine Initiation which expounds on the profound concepts from the Vedic, agamic, tantric, yogic and siddha sciences. Parni Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, pays tribute to all the great divinities who are linked to the tantric tradition in his book Divine Initiation. It is not a dry book. It is not just theory. It is a tribute to the great divinities by a guru who has lived it. There is no other book in any language which has such a profound explanation about the great divinities. The following video snippet is from an interview of Bhagavan Shri Shanmukha by a Russian journalist in Goa in 2011. Please note that at this point in history, that is in 2011, Bhagavan Shanmukha already has a teaching experience of over 30 years, and it had been 10 years already since his book Divine Initiation was published. Bhagavan Shanmukha responds to the journalist's question about his book Divine Initiation.
And in this book, I am dealing with the symbols, the interpretations, the Vedic ideas. I'm only dealing with one school of thought in this book. And then after that, I'm giving a rough idea of where history went wrong. How current history of India is actually a fiction of the colonial times. And it's only book that will take you to the Veda. Every other book is talking about the Veda, an idea about the Veda by a person of this century talking about something on the past. This is the book where I'm looking into every verse, every Vedic verse, and then giving an conclusion where this is how you use it, this is how you go into the Veda.
And therefore, Divine Initiation is definitely a one-of-a-kind book, which is like reading the pulse to know the whole body and health. Whereas Jaggi Vasudev has no respect for the Veda. He always avoided learning Sanskrit and the scriptures.
So I don't have the burden of 4 Vedas sitting on my head.
I have always avoided learning Sanskrit language.
Jaggi makes huge blunders in basic Sanskrit words like Rudraksha and Kala.
Rudra means Shiva, Aksha means teardrops. Shiva's teardrops.
Aksha means eyes in Sanskrit, not teardrops. Therefore, Rudraksha means Rudra's eyes, not Shiva's teardrops.
When we say space, we are talking about kala or non-existence.
Kala means portion in Sanskrit. It has nothing to do with Jaggi's explanation of Kala as non-existence. When Jaggi does not know the meaning of basic Sanskrit words like Rudraksha and Kala, there is no way in the world where he can know the profound interpretations of Vibhuti, Akasha, Soma, Prana, etc. Jaggi flicked the topic on Vibhuti from pages 83 to 85 of the book Divine Initiation. The explanation of Akasha, Jaggi flicked from pages 177 to 179 of the book Divine Initiation. The concept of Soma, Jaggi flicked from the chapter Soma, pages 92 to 95 of the book Divine Initiation. Please note that Soma was always misunderstood as a hallucinogenic drug. Parni Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, was the first person to clarify this myth in his lectures to students for over 40 years and in his published book Divine Initiation. The topic on prana, chakras, dharma and karma, Jaggi flicked from the audio recordings and lecture notes of Parni Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha. The explanation of Om, the parallels between Om, Amen and Amin, mantra, Jaggi flicked from page 181 of the book Divine Initiation and from the audio recordings and lecture notes of Bhagavan Shanmukha. We have released a video on this in the YouTube channel Guru of Sadhguru with evidence of Bhagavan's audio recordings on this topic. Jaggi flicked the concept of sonic explosion from page 25 and page 181 of the book Divine Initiation and from Bhagavan Shanmukha's videos and lecture notes. Bhagavan Shanmukha knows Urdu, the etymology of Skanda to Iskandar and Alexander, and the topic on the great divinity Skanda. Jaggi flicked from the chapter Skanda, pages 210 to 216. And from the lecture notes of Bhagavan Shri Shanmukha. Bhagavan Shanmukha grew up in the culture of Skanda. He has participated in the Skanda festivals in Parni, Penang, Batu Caves and Singapore, where it is celebrated flamboyantly. The topic on Mahadevi in the book Divine Initiation expounds on Tantra Shastra completely. Jaggi flicked concepts from this chapter Mahadevi, pages 161 to 200, and repackaged in his recent talks as Devi, femininity, divine femininity, Vama Marga, etc. The explanation of Krishna as a complete incarnation of the divine, Jaggi flicked from the chapter Krishna, pages 58 to 91. Divine Initiation is the only book to talk of Krishna as a complete incarnation of the divine, and the author Bhagavan Shanmukha further mentions Charles Darwin, speaks about avatars and elaborates on Garuda in the chapter on Krishna. Jaggi conveniently flicks exactly all these concepts to dazzle the audience and builds his popularity. Is there a possibility of so many coincidences? And every time, Jaggi is flicking and repackaging after a period of around 12 to 15 years after the publication of the books Divine Initiation and Third Eye of the Buddhist. Can the public not see that Jaggi has no language skills, no lineage, and therefore no knowledge to extract the profound information other than these books? The reason we are taking up this cause is because we are protecting the various ideologies of India's traditions. Jaggi flicked the topic on Rudra, Shiva, Shivaratri and Linga from the chapter Rudra Shiva, pages 96 to 160 of the book Divine Initiation and from Bhagavan Shanmukha's lecture notes. Jaggi flicked the explanation of avatars from the chapter Avatars, pages 73 to 85 of the book Divine Initiation. In fact, Bhagavan Shanmukha was the first person to translate the word Rig of the Rig Veda as formulae, and therefore he also spoke of the word Sutra in the Yoga Sutra as formulae.
Rig usually is translated as verses or this, but I translate it as formulas.
And Jaggi flicked this and parroted it in his talks because Jaggi has absolutely no background in Sanskrit and the scriptures to translate Sutra as formula.
Rig usually is translated as verses or this, but I translate it as formulas.
Sutra no formula. I have neither read the Gita, nor the Vedas, nor the Upanishads, nor even the Yoga Sutra. I've never studied anything.
It is obvious from the following video clips of Jaggi that Jaggi does not know God or consciousness at all. In this video clip, Jaggi reduces God to just a tool or a stepping stone.
This is a land which clearly understood God is our making. That's the reason why in this culture God is not the goal. Mukti is the goal, liberation is the goal, ultimate freedom is the goal. God is never the goal. Mukti means what? Liberation, freedom from everything, including God. You are using God as a stepping stone if you need it.
In this video clip, it is obvious that Jaggi does not know the relevance of God. You can see here, Jaggi is babbling about village gods.
In every village, they have a different god or a goddess. What is it that should people write it on their forehead that we made it up? They're telling you, this is our goddess, this is only for our village. This means what? They made it and they revere it because they need some point to hold their emotion and to look up to something.
In this video clip, Jaggi's absolute ignorance and arrogance is obvious. The inability of Jaggi to understand the concept of Brahman and Atman as creator and creation.
By understanding God is the creator of whole existence and he is referred to as Swayambhu. When you speak about science of God making, I get confused. How can a piece of creation create the creator?
What do I do? So there is a serious problem in your understanding. You cannot call this understanding. This is simply a certain arrogance in a human being that you don't have the humility to say, I do not know. So you understand every damn thing in a damn stupid way.
Jaggi's inability to comprehend the spiritual science is reflected here.
And if you gather 1,000 people around you with the same stupid belief, you become a powerful force and you have connection with the Creator. Because when all the idiots say the same thing, among the idiots it becomes the truth.
I'm completely spiritually uneducated. I have to admit that I have neither read the Gita, nor the Vedas, nor the Upanishads, nor even the Yoga Sutra. I've never studied anything. The most profound literature that I read, I read English literature just for fun because I like the language. Otherwise, the most profound stuff that I read is asterisks.
Is what? Asterisk. Asterisk comics, yeah.
What do I do?
The video clips of Jaggi shows that all along Jaggi Vasudev has no knowledge of the Veda, agama, tantra, yoga, etc., but only make-believes ignorant Western youngsters. Therefore, there is no way for Jaggi to know the profound explanations of Vibhuti, Akasha, avatars, Krishna as a complete incarnation of the divine, Devi, etc. Jaggi just flicks these profound contents from the works of Parani Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, and Jaggi parrots them in his talks to dazzle the audience and to cover up for his false enlightenment claim and to cover up for his many illegal atrocities. I had shared with you all these facts during our phone call, Prateek, and I also provided you with information from the YouTube channel Guru of Sadhguru. Parani Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, has been teaching the yoga of the Kaula Tantric tradition for over 40 years through an unbroken Guru-Shishya parampara of centuries.
Bhagavan has an interesting style of teaching. To me, it's almost like an oral tradition that goes way back thousands and thousands of years, and it forces you to learn it a different way.
We're not just doing random postures. It's a comprehensive system. You know, it's not just something that our teacher Bhagavan made up. It's a long-standing tradition that arises from the Rig Veda itself.
We talk a wide array of topics just so that we can, remove layers of misinformation so that the science will actually sink in.
The system is so deeply rooted in the Vedas and has so much to offer beyond just the asanas in terms of the philosophy and the mantras. And so I'm coming away with a much deeper spiritual experience than I had anticipated.
The asanas are really just a way to cultivate your body for meditation. And all the effectiveness is being done in this meditative trance that we're trying to have you experience.
It's like a meditation through movement, and gradually over time, it really, really settles you into your inner being.
Please bear in mind that Bhagavan Shanmukha has been teaching for over 40 years, way before YouTube came into existence, and therefore this video published in YouTube in 2013 brings forth the unique teachings of Bhagavan Shanmukha, which he has been teaching for over 40 years.
Today, probably I am one of the few Kaula teachers in India itself.
I have never studied any spirituality and never made a study of anything and not studied with anybody.
Because in the Kaula system, you see a blend of tantric concepts and asanas. Entire yoga science is a science that extends meditation to the body. And it's very important to understand this concept because we always think about meditation as only a mental experience. But the body can meditate. There are many things to take into consideration, not just muscles and bones. And so when you look seriously into it, the whole way of teaching yoga becomes different. The whole approach becomes different. And that's what we are trying to do here.
Even prominent gurus like Iyengar, Pattabhi Jois don't have this vocabulary and don't speak like this. Only Bhagavan Shanmukha teaches like this. This concept of relaxation and meditativeness in asanas is taught for over 40 years only by Bhagavan Sri Shanmukha in the yoga of the Kaula Tantra tradition. Jaggi has poorly imitated the traditional Tantra yoga taught for over 40 years by Bhagavan Shanmukha.
And it's very important to understand this concept because we always think about meditation as only a mental experience. But the body can meditate.
Hatha yoga is not something that you learn with your mind. It's something that you learn to imbibe through your body. I have neither read the Gita, nor the Vedas, nor the Upanishads, nor even the Yoga Sutra.
When Jaggi has never studied anything, not even the Yoga Sutra, how can he claim to devise classical Hatha Yoga and use words like Angamardana and Upayoga?
The asanas are really just a way to cultivate your body for meditation. And all the effectiveness is being done in this meditative trance that we're trying to have you experience.
It's like a meditation through movement, and gradually over time, it really, really settles you into your inner being.
We're approaching the asanas in a completely different way now. It's about the experience, like being in the asana and experiencing, the meditativeness of the asana.
This Isha participant stated that now they are approaching the asanas differently and meditatively, which is in the year 2015. Whereas in this video of Jaggi in 2020, at Jaggi's age of 63, Jaggi's approach to asanas is completely inaccurate. Jaggi always approached asanas as hardness in the body, which is rigid and detrimental to the whole being.
This is what the Western academics are saying, that yoga in India is just a leftover of the English physical education for the school children of India, started by Thomas Babington Macaulay. This is the colonial ghostly possession that has taken over the yoga world, that Bhagavan Shri Shanmukha, also known as Palaniswami, is wanting to perform an exorcism to get rid of the colonial ghost from the world of yoga.
Well, here's my breakfast. It's very important that every one of you stay fit for life. Being fit for life means hardness in the body, sharpness in your mind, and softness in your heart.
Usually, yogis are trying to make the body supple, and Jaggi is talking about making the body hard. This is because Jaggi Vasudev has no experience of doing yoga himself.
This proves that the Isha Yoga participants' claim is an imitation from the concepts taught by Bhagavan Shanmukha for the purpose of Isha Yoga's promotion, whereas the knowledge of yoga is completely absent in Isha's yoga programs. In fact, the rigidity in the Isha engineering yoga practice has caused psychological and physiological damage to some aspirants who then came to Bhagavan Shanmukha for solutions. Therefore, this claim that Jaggi devised classical Hatha Yoga is a fraudulent claim. Jaggi claims to teach anatomy, yogic physiology, science of siddha medicine in his Isha Yoga program. All these concepts Jaggi flicked from the teachings of Palaniswami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, and Jaggi poses that he himself devised classical Hatha Yoga, which is a fraudulent claim. These videos bear evidences that Jaggi is flicking the concepts from Bhagavan Shanmukha's teachings. Whatever Jaggi is flicking can be legally proven by the students of Bhagavan Shanmukha themselves. These teachings of Bhagavan Shanmukha are taught by about 7,000 students around the world for a period of last 15 years. The following video is an interview of Bhagavan Shanmukha by Swami Krishna Prasad in Goa in 2011. Bhagavan Shanmukha is giving an introduction to the concept of Upasana in this video clip.
This whole standing posture is to culture body alignment, like slowly we move the body structures bit by bit into aligning itself.
Right.
And then in the long run, by doing this, we also culture the bone density.
Okay.
Because
the structure of the bones and become
yes,
more
the
bones.
healthier,
Yeah,
yes.
healthier.
And so we use this, what we call upasana or vyayama for this reason, because it is actually preparing one to go into the asanas, and the asanas, which we will do after, which will go into culturing the prana or chi.
Okay.
So
The
energy system.
Jaggi flicked this concept of Upasana and reworded it to Upayoga.
So instead of trying yoga, I would say, if somebody wants to rapidly learn something, there is a dimension of yoga which is called as Upayoga. That means it's pre-yoga or sub-yoga.
Here is another instance of Jaggi's flicking from the lectures of Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha. These are the introduction lectures that Bhagavan Shanmukha repeats for the new arrival of students every month.
From my observation, science has a different history. Technology has another different history. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Technology has really a different history. Technology evolved from Christianity, the alchemist. Science has a little later, science is like for me like diary keeping. You're keeping a diary for yourself. You write in there and you conclude. So anyway, coming back, this is how I think, forgive me.
There is a distinction between science and technology. Science can evolve because of certain intelligence. Technology needs material, manifestation. Now we are trying to claim technology, which we should not. If we just focus on science, many things will be attributed to India for sure.
Jaggi found it so important to submit to Barkadat what he flicked from Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, so that Jaggi can get Bharka's approval. This is how Jaggi builds his popularity as a wise man in India. In the following video, you will clearly see Jaggi has flicked the concept of key from page 2 of the book Divine Initiation, written by Bhagavan Shanmukha. I quote from the book. This work, for the first time in about 500 years of humankind, offers an insight into the Veda and its related scriptures. In fact, this work offers a key to decode not only the Veda but also the ancient world of religious and philosophical scriptures. The author of this work is a tantric, and it is through the practice and contemplation of tantricism that this key was realized. It is only to substantiate this key that the author started becoming familiar with the study of Indology, Buddhology and Orientology. In fact, the Vedic exegetes of the land of Bharat or India prior to the last 500 years were aware of this key, and even today it is mindfully recited as a mantra. Please bear in mind that Divine Initiation was written in 1990 and published in 2001. And Jaggi, after 17 years of the publication of Divine Initiation, is yelling key, key, key in this video clip.
So today I thought I will reveal the key. I will give away the key to this knowledge, the foundation, the key for everything that I am. And everything that happens in the name of Isha is just this one sound, this one mantra. I'm talking about a key.
Anyone with common sense can see that these are not coincidences. Rather, it is a theft by Jaggi from the works of Bhagavan Shanmukha Anantha to authenticate himself as a guru. The key to all the profound concepts spoken by Jaggi in his talks is the books, videos and lecture notes of Bhagavan Sri Shanmukha Anantha. Jaggi parroted these concepts in his lectures to dazzle the audience, and with this Jaggi built his Isha empire and his popularity. Jaggi makes huge blunders because he has no knowledge, no wisdom and no experience of the yogic and tantric science. Jaggi fraudulently took the information from the books, videos and lecture notes of Bhagavan Shanmukha, and in the beginning, worrying that Bhagavan Shanmukha will pop up from the crowd and contest, and coming under the pressure of many people who were asking Jaggi for the source of all his talks, Jaggi indirectly and slyly paid a false tribute to Bhagavan Shanmukha by addressing him as Swami.
I am just a small extension of who he was, my guru, my grand guru whose name nobody knew, because he sat in samadhi states for long periods of time. Near the Palani hills, people called him Palani Swami.
Palani Swami is a real person who is Bhagavan Sri Shanmukha, an authentic guru whom Jaggi met in the 80s in Mysore. Bhagavan Shanmukha used to frequent the Palani temple and he grew in the culture of Skanda. Therefore, he was addressed by his Indian students as Palani Swami. In this picture, you can see he is sitting in front of the Ram temple in Goa. Parni Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha, frequents many temples because he has a habit of supporting temples and temple priests. Later, Jaggi tried to use the name of Malladihalli Swami as a guru for himself because the question of lineage comes up all the time in India to see if the guru is authentic or not. To cover up for his false enlightenment claim, fake sadhana, and to cover up for his flicking of concepts from the books, videos and lecture notes of Bhagavan Shanmukha, Jaggi is fabricating narratives of fictional gurus. Now, when the questions of Jaggi's charlatanry come up, Jaggi is using Newslaundry to make up to the world that he learned from Rishi Prabhakar so that he can cover up for flicking and repackaging content from the works of Parni Swami, who is Bhagavan Shanmukha Natha. Prateek Goyal, your reporting is biased. You are slyly distorting facts. I say that because you had already spoken to me and you are aware of the facts. You owe integrity to the journalist community and to the Indian public. It is responsible journalism to bring all the facts on the table because people deserve to know the truth about Jaggi Vasudev. You are falsifying history and this can call for legal action. Authentic gurus like Bhagavan Shanmukha Natha have so much unpublished information about India and the traditional sciences, and it is verifiable. It is this information that should reach the people of India and the world. That is why I am making this effort to speak the truth. Jaggi only pretends to talk on spiritualism. The reality is that Jaggi has committed many illegal atrocities and he stands exposed for his frauds and crimes by many prominent people of social and educational standing.